Ike might just call, but he decided to go all in, and I can't blame him. And of course, he got the bad news when Young turned over the Kings. Just a unlucky cooler.
I'm Sam Hicks, I'm from Melbourne. I just played card games all my life since I was a little kid. Started with like gin rummy and stuff like that, and then me and my dad started playing poker when it came out online, and then progressed from online to casinos and so forth, and tournaments become more important to me than cash games, because cash games you can just reload and stuff like that. So the tournaments, your value of chips are more precious, so it become a bit more exciting. So I just stuck with a lot of tournaments these days. It's not my full-time gig, but I do like to play when it's series on in Melbourne or Sydney or wherever. I try and play it. I won a ring a few years ago, and I've won a WSOP, the APAC bracelet in the Omaha as well. I've pretty much been playing probably the last 7 years, Aussie Millions series. Yeah, I made a deep run. I came 11th in the Six Max, so I just missed out on the final table there. And this is my other deepest run, so, and obviously won it, so it was good.
Oh, so you won the event?
Yeah.
What was the event?
The Omaha High-Low.
Oh, right. Fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah. Yes, very happy. I just like to get in there and play the cards and, like be friends with everyone on the table. I don't really find enemies or anything like that on the table. I just, play the cards as they come.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the 2018 Aussie Millions Poker Championship. We are here down to 3 in the main event, and I believe the players are returning to the table shortly. The players took that last 15 minutes to discuss a deal, and we will be coming back to officially see what the deal is, if the players have all agreed, and then cards will be in the air once that happens. So catching you guys up as to what occurred, we are down now to the final 3. All 3 players guaranteed 645,000 Australian dollars. Second place 1.1 million, first place 1.8 million Australian dollars. And the players did take a break to discuss a potential chop. I would have loved for them to do that at the table. However, that is not what they decided to do. I am joined, as always, by my co-hosts, Nanonoko and Kevin Martin. Either of you guys ever done a live chop?
No, I think the tournament I won, no one even said the word chop, and I just won it. And I was like, okay, here's $500,000. Thank you.
Their mistake. Kmart?
At the PCA final table, the guy who had all the chips was definitely the most experienced player. And when we got heads up, he wasn't going to chop with me unless I gave him money. And I wasn't going to give him money, so it was just kind of an understood, like, let's just play for it. So, no.
Here come the players.
Let's see what they come up with. It's going to be interesting whether Lewis asks for more or not.
So there's really 2 ways to chop a tournament. One is using chip count. And the other one is ICM, independent chip model. Both have their benefits and drawbacks. Let's see if we can hear anything from the players here, but looks like Joel is writing something down on his official crown scroll of authority. He's probably drawing a big Kappa face. That's what I think he's doing.
He shows us.
He's just draws a big, beautiful Kappa sketch. So it looks like Joel is writing out the deal.
C. Park was our player who was sadly eliminated in 4th.
Charlie Park.
He ran pretty bad. He got Jackson versus Deuces, chopped it up, and then Queens versus sevens. And
apparently the Nanonoko blessing wears off after dinner break.
Yeah.
Feels bad, man. If only we told him that.
Yeah, sorry, Park.
He might have
Maybe
injected.
next year.
Okay, so
something.
it does look like they are either adding their little flares to the Kappa face or are all agreeing to terms. And I do believe that the players have all agreed to a deal. I will tell you guys what they've agreed to once everyone's signed to it. Which it does look like they are. And it looks like Joel is going to sign off on the scroll of authority.
By the way, Lewis looks like he's in pretty good shape. You go back to some of those old videos, he was a bigger guy. Good for him. Looks healthy.
Looks like Joel shaking everybody's hand. It's official. A deal has been made. So I've just been handed the scroll of authority through the time and space. And looks like the deal is Espen Solis locking up $1.17 million. Toby Lewis, $1.38 million. And Stefan Huber, $909,000. They're all going to play for $75,000 more and the bracelet.
It's just so much money they all locked up.
It is so much money.
Again, to quickly repeat those numbers, Toby Lewis, chip leader, has locked up $1.3 million. Solis, who is second in chips, locks up $1.1 million. And Huber, our short stack, locks up $900,000.
Yeah, 909,000. So the original payouts was 1.8, 1.1, and 645. So Toby got almost 1.4. Huber got 909.
Calculators have been put away.
Here's
Three
Joel.
players do remain, and we are back underway with an hour and 15 minutes left of level 31. Our blinds remain at 80,000, 160,000 with a 20k ante. Shuffle up and deal.
So, guys, what do you expect to happen here now that the deal has been made?
Well, it changes the dynamic because now it's going to be a winner take all for 75k. You won't have to say like one guy gets down to like 10 big blinds. You don't have to wait until he busts. You can just still play your hands as you would normally.
Right. Now there's no advantage to staying alive. So I do think we're going to see action really fast now. If you saw a few levels ago, everyone was playing really tight because they had to be concerned about the payouts.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you get second or third.
Having said that, Lewis just limps fives, blind versus blind, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Gonna get it in right away, I think.
Huber jams, and Lewis calls.
Like, hey, boys.
Wait. Lewis folded? No. Lewis called. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, that's an interesting way to play the first hand back, I guess. Limp shove call.
Good thing they made a deal already, huh?
Well, if they hadn't made a deal, it would have been like raise call, right? Anyway, Lewis versus Huber all in here. If Huber wins this pot, he'll actually be up there near Lewis's stack. It'll be almost like a three-way even race if Huber can win this. He's got to find a 6, an ace, or a jack. And there's the jack. And these guys are still playing for 75 grand here. Lewis was dead to a 5, doesn't find it. I guess a queen or a jack would have chopped also. And guys, do you think that's going to be the speed of playing? Limp jam calls, a lot of those coming.
Instantly.
Because I did not expect that to be the first hand we saw here.
But that goes to show like how a deal can really change because Lewis is barely even in first place now. So maybe that deal might even pay off for him.
Well, if this was still pre-deal, Lewis would have maybe just raised. Huber still, you know what?
This would still happen.
This actually might have still happened. I mean, assuming the cards were going to be the same, it still might have happened the same way. But maybe like Lewis raises, Huber jams. Players definitely going to be a lot looser now, right? Because there's just no real reason to play tight. It's funny to me, last year, Shireen Vijayaram, I think, won without a deal, if I am not mistaken. I think 2 years ago, when Ari Engel won, I think they did make a deal. Because it was him against Bond 18, and I think those guys were pretty friendly with each other and did make some sort of a save.
I could have been busted like maybe.
Chibi Mama wants to know how deals work. The payouts have been adjusted. They just auto-lock up the payouts that they agreed to. Remember, it is the players' money. This whole tournament is players' money, so they are allowed to make whatever deal they choose. My only preference is that they do it at the table.
No.
Many casino venues don't facilitate chops. So if you want to make a deal, that's fine, but they're still going to pay you based on your finish. And so for Crown to facilitate that, I think is nice of them and the right thing to do. I just think in exchange for that, they should request that you make your deal at the featured table.
Would have been nice to see them stay at the table, and we could have at least heard the discussion, see what was discussed and how it went down.
Yeah, I can't really see a disadvantage because if you're like, oh, I don't want Twitch chat interfering with the deal, well, we're on a delay. They still can't hear the deal. And if you go, oh, I don't want my deal numbers to be public, I don't want them to know how much I won, the numbers are still public anyway. So I don't really see the disadvantage of doing it. Like, oh, people don't want to know my chopped negotiation skills. I don't look like a bad guy if I ask for more money. I don't think that's a real thing. I think we'd rather just see that, you know? I mean, I think that I will certainly advocate for that in the future. Just fine to make a deal, just do it at the table, guys.
So is everyone around the same stack now?
Yeah, everyone's pretty equal. Lewis is 8.5 million. The other guy's around 7 million.
Yeah, so think about this, guys. All three of these players made so much money on Solis's turn 7.
Yes.
Like, busting out Park here made all these guys a ton of money.
That's just so much money locked up.
Because think about this, Solis would have been, basically crippled and out in 4th for 470K. Instead, he makes it through. He makes the 7 and locks up $1.2 million. So
That's like $700,000 swing.
Literally like a 700K Australian dollar swing there.
Based on a 7.
Jason Cook wants to know, for a tourney like this, do you think it's 75K is too little to play for? 75K, I think, was the number because it was 5% of the remaining prize pool. If I'm not mistaken, it was 3.5 million or so left over. And so I think that was their reasoning. That's how they came up with that number. It's a little bit more than 5%. But yeah, I think you could have also said, maybe 80K, 1% of the total prize pool you got to play for, but
I would like a nice smooth 100 at least.
Yeah,
personally.
I think you could. I think Crown could say you have to leave a minimum 100K to play for, especially if we're gonna, if you're not doing a live stream, then I don't really care. You can say whatever you want, but to do a live stream, I think it would make sense to guarantee we're gonna play for 100K for first, And now we could see play really slow down.
They're all pretty deep and all pretty even now. For sure.
They've all got over 50 big blinds or just about there. So I at least think the play will be moving quickly. So Solis limps and Lewis raises.
Gotta say, I'm shocked that Lewis made a deal. I thought he was gonna just roll with it, but I understand wanting to lock up that much money. One double up, he could have swung and lost a lot of equity. I am surprised, though, that he took the deal.
But it shows you how, just because you're in first place, it does not guarantee you're going to win the tournament. And that's why it's safe, lower the variance by taking the deal. Because he is barely the chip leader right now. Anyhow, play is moving a little bit fast because, Lewis has raised his limp from the big blind, and Solis has still called him in the small blind with 10-7 offsuit.
Yeah, I don't know if that would have happened pre-deal. In fact, I really doubt it.
So I do believe Lewis has flopped the flush draw. He's going to go ahead and continuation bet here.
Lewis does bet. Solis folds. Lewis chips up closer to 10 million. We are still playing for that title, the bracelet, and $75,000. So it's still a hefty amount of change to play for here. Not a bad day, not a bad week for these guys.
Yeah, understatement. Not a bad 5-day tournament.
Huber was one of our short stacks to start this final table today. Solis and Lewis were bigger stacked. Two of our biggest, the two biggest stacks, in fact.
Didn't make it to the end.
Seems like didn't make it. So King 10, Queen 10, and Solis first to act. Queen 8 probably going to raise. We'll see what Lewis does in the small blind. So Solis raises here on the button. Lewis certainly going nowhere with queen 10. If he calls, Huber's going to call. If he raises, I think Huber will get out of the way.
They'll probably both get out of the way.
Let's go, Steph.
Lewis does call here.
Is he going to bring in Huber in the big blind, I imagine? Not the worst hand just to squeeze with, but I think he's going to call and we're going to go 3-ways to the flop.
Yeah, I see a call coming too. They haven't really been squeezing. But,
Oh,
Yep.
he's like, all right, we locked up a deal.
We're going for it.
Let's 3-bet.
And I expect this is going to just work, and they'll both just fold. I see a lot of guys in chat saying this team is kind of like anticlimactic. Now there's a deal. But guys, you got to look at it this way. This is life-changing money. This is all the players' money, too. You know, it's not like a esports tournament where there's a prize pool put up by sponsors or investors of some variety. This is player money. You know, all these guys put up $10,000 a piece to get in this tournament. And so when they get down to the final 3 or whatever they choose, they're allowed to make a deal. So this is just how poker tournaments are. You know, this is the authentic part of how tourneys play out sometimes. So I feel your guys' pain that we would rather there be bloodshed and have one of these guys make $1 million less than first place. But that's just not how these tourneys work at this point in poker's life. When the players are putting up the prize pool, they are allowed to make deals like this, and that's just kind of how it goes. All right, on to the next hand here.
You know what? If I ever play for $1.8 million, there's no way I'm taking it. Just kidding. Of course, I would take a deal. I would take a deal so fast, and of course, it's so much money.
And I mean, we are going to see a lot of action at least. You know, I think like spots like this are going to be basically like cash games. Huber's limping. Solis is always raising at this point. Huber is going to raise it up, 300K more, and that will do it at the end of this hand. What's the bracelet worth? I'm not sure, but it is an extremely nice bracelet. We will see it when we get heads up. I think it will be actually on the table. Yes, oh madness, oh. Lewis looks like the guy from Game of Thrones. Well, don't you mean Huber looks like the Littlefinger? Who do you think the Lewis looks like from Game of Thrones? Turquoise says, at this point I'd be going all in every hand, ready to party.
You're playing for 75K.
Still 75K more here, plus the title.
Remember how hard they were fighting for to get a 75K pay jump?
Right.
Yeah, so you can't just treat it as nothing now.
Yeah, guys, remember the difference between, like 4th and 5th was 100K. This is basically, that. That wasn't that long ago. So these guys still got a lot to play for here.
And the 75K lets you play this tournament 7 times for free.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot. Solis does limp here. Also, this is one of the most prestigious titles in poker. You know what I mean? It's really the only one outside of WSOP, EPT, Poker Stars, there's other events. And, WSOP, WPT, EPTs, and then Aussie Millions is kind of a standalone thing. But to me, those are like the most prestigious tourneys you can win. So all these guys want that title. They want to be known as a champion.
You only remember the champion usually.
Right. You guys aren't going to remember whoever got third in this tournament. You guys are going to remember whether it's whoever wins is going to be like, wow, remember Toby Lewis won the Aussie Millions last year? No asterisk next to his name. So these guys are still battling it out here. And Lewis going to win that pot with 8-5 offsuit. We're going to remember Park. That's true. That's true. You guys are going to remember Park.
Apparently, according to Twitch chat, Lewis looks like Tobey Maguire. I think we're really pushing these lookalikes now. I mean, every person doesn't have to look like somebody.
Yeah, I don't know about that
Just
one.
because his name is Toby does not mean he looks like him.
Really pushing. How did Park leave? Queens versus Sevens. The 7 of death on the turn. Boy, what a swing that was. Really gracious in his exit interview. Definitely a person that will be remembered from this tournament.
So easy to root for him too.
Like 7. Yeah, like well, maybe even 8, I guess.
Solis here with the best hand. He's going to raise it up on the
I
button.
had 98% of my action until the final table.
Yeah?
It's insane.
How about,
And that's so lucky.
yeah, I mean, big spot.
Yeah.
Action is on Huber here in the big blind.
Going for a re-raise?
Germans are happy as well.
Looks like he is.
Oh, he is.
They're too rich.
Huber's
He's really
going for it.
laying down the law here. You know, we've already seen him re-raise twice.
I want to point out that, maybe making a deal makes your opponents play better because all they have to just win. They don't. Something to think about as well, whether you want to make a deal or not.
I think, yeah, I mean, I can definitely. This would not have happened, I think, if this was a normal three-handed play.
Maybe grinding out a lot harder.
For sure. This would have went raise call or raise fold even. Probably not raise fold, but it would have went raise call, I expect. And Huber going to pick up that pot, chipping away at Solis. 2 times now he's been successful with that big blind re-raise. So this is kind of like a cash game, right? This is kind of like a 50 big blind deep cash game at this point because it's winner take all.
No rebuys.
Yeah, no rebuys. It's a freeze out.
You got to put your $1 million back on the table. If you want to rebuy.
Yeah. So Nano, what would you generally say? Like, I mean, we've already seen Huber aggressively re-raise twice now.
Yep.
Would you say like, I mean, what's the general strategy at this point? If you're playing a winner take all freeze out, how is it generally impacting you versus a normal 20 payout structure?
The strategy here really is just to make the best play every single hand. Do not pass a single small edge,
Right.
because those are going to compound over each other and help you win the tournament.
So three-handed, and they're all pretty even, but Lewis does have like 1.5x, which Solis has. Who are your guys' picks to win this three-handed match? Kevin, what do you think?
I mean, with the slight chip lead, you have to go with Lewis, but I like kind of how Solis has been playing. So I think he's kind of my dark horse of the 3, even though he's in 3rd right now of the 3.
What do you think, Nano?
I like Lewis. He was a nano killer in the past. I think he's going to take this tournament. He plays really well, too.
Lewis definitely has been dominating at this final table generally. Certainly feels to me like the person who deserves to win. But Solis has been playing great the last few days, and a couple hands, if they had gone differently, he would be the massive chip leader. He would have busted out Toby with 14 left. He could have won so many of these earlier all-ins at this final table, too, and had even more chips, and he could have been the breakaway chip leader.
I think Solis is playing really well. I mean, I like his creativity, and he's really gotten the bad end of these all-ins, but he's still in it. It's not out yet.
All 3 of these players are very excellent players.
Hooper is really good at grinding it out and then taking some moves and doing creative strategies to help propel him this far in the tournament as well.
So Lewis here with a pretty big bet on the flop, over $500,000. Solis not going anywhere with his 6. Decides to check call. He's in awful shape though. Lucky for him it wasn't a 7. It was a 3 across. Solis is going to check, and I think Lewis, if he fires again here, will probably just take it down. Shadzilla says, Lewis feel like an idiot if he wins, but you got to realize that he won't necessarily have one. Even if he does win this, it's entirely different. Play would have been very different if they had not made a deal. So.
But remember, he needs to win in order to outperform the deal he made. It's quite hard, 3-handed.
Right. Think about that, guys. Lewis locked up $1.4 million. So would he have really made that extra $400K that much more often when they were 3-handed? If he had doubled up either opponent, he is not in great shape to have won it outright. And these guys have been playing for 5 days. You know, I mean, he's obviously exhausted. He's obviously tired. They're all going to be tired. So, I really don't fault any of them. I used to be kind of anti-deal until I also was playing for the most money I was ever playing for in my life, and then I made a deal.
Yeah.
So you're always like, "What are you doing? Play already!" Until you're actually there, and then you're like, "All right, actually, I'm playing a bunch of good players, and I'm okay with just chopping." So
You're like, I can lock up money safely? That
Yeah.
seems like a good thing.
Twitch chat understands. They don't mind. Wrong.
yeah, they might.
Twitch chat is already making
Twitch
deal
out.
every
Little
time.
animosity, guys. If you were in that spot, I think you're not. I think you're taking the check as well.
I mean, I think Twitch chat's making a deal when there's like 50 players left sometimes, you know?
Let's all even chop, guys. Vohayo. Action on Hoover with ace-10 suited. He's going to raise it up. Lewis out of the way already. Lewis probably going to defend here with the 9-7 offsuit. If Hooper wins, he will have basically $1 million. He is 909 locked up, so 75 more put him at 986. No pair for either player here. Lewis first act.
That's 275,000. 275.
It's gonna take that down with the c-bet.
Huber adds that pot to the stack. But him and Lewis almost tied. Tolas getting to be the shortest stack. Three chips in play. That'll be all we see. Those blue chips are 100K, yellow chips are 5K, and the brown chips are 25,000. This has been a lot of fun casting this event here. Hope you guys had a good time. We'll be back with more live streaming action soon enough. Kevin and Nano, though, probably back before me.
Couple days away from that start streaming button. Jumping a bunch of tournaments. I can't wait. I'm missing it.
Lewis here with a pretty good hand. Ace queen. He's going to go ahead and raise it up. Hooper out of the way. And Lewis over 10 million chips here. Nice hand there for Lewis. Still rocking and rolling here. Got to feel great about his cash. Kobe with just about 3.2 million in total lifetime earnings. He's going to be adding 1.4 million to that number. Not bad. We'll put him right around somewhere in the middle of 4 million in total lifetime earnings. He was already 22nd on the England all-time money list. With this cash, that'll put him right around 11th, 12th, maybe even as good as 10th. Depending on the exchange rate here, it could be up between 9th and 11th. Surrender Sunar, Paul Newey, Jake Cody. Who do you think is the #1 lifetime money winner from the United Kingdom?
If I was to guess, Max Silver?
No.
No?
Gotta be like a WSOP champion.
Stephen Chidwick.
Chidwick would not be a bad guess. So 7th, Chris
Max Silver's name's right there too. It's a bad guess.
Yes, 14th from Excel.
What is it? I'm really curious.
Chidwick.
Chris Mormon is 7th. Roland
Oh,
DeWolf.
no. I know it. Don't look.
Okay.
Sam Trickett.
Sam
Good
Trickett
guess.
is actually has to be it because he had like a 10 million cash, doesn't he? So yeah,
Yeah,
it's gotta be Sam Trickett. Indeed, it is 20 million. But you're right, Chidwick was second with 10 million. Not bad, not bad.
Mr. Charlie Carroll on 4.
Charlie Carroll, probably the Jack Salter, also some younger players in this top 5 for the UK.
You Canadian? Who's on the Canadian?
Kevin Martin on top. Daniel Negreanu's going to be on top.
Oh yeah, that's obvious.
Yeah.
Yes, Daniel. Here we are on the turn. Solos without anything. Lewis with top pair and a gut shot. Enegs has $36 million in lifetime cashes. First in the all-time Canadian money list. First in the all-time money list.
Wow.
First in popularity ranking, too, on Hand Mob, not surprisingly. Number 2 from Canada, Jonathan Duhamel. Mike McDonald in 3rd, Sorrel Mizzy in 4th. Mike Watson in 5th. Excellent top 5 from Canada.
Mike Lee in 9th. And in 1007, Kevin Martin.
Search for player name on this ranking. Kevin Martin.
I don't even think he shows up. He's that low.
Kevin St. Martin?
1004th. I'm almost in the top 1,000.
Kevin Martin, you're almost in the top 1,000.
After a couple of running up Reno caches, I think I'll break through.
You'll get there. You'll get there. So Solis has to face the million chip bet here. Not really sure why he hasn't already just folded. Kevin, all you have to do is cash for $110, and you'll make the top 1,000. You have to get one three-figure cash bet.
Right on the outside.
Let's go to that Aria daily deep stack right after this is over.
Dude,
let's go.
I will play it if you play it.
Yeah, of course you will. If all it takes is me playing it.
There's got to be like a Bally's $80 morning tournament or something.
That's it. You just gotta lock up that cash, bro. Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, if it's not then, it's gonna be running up Reno, right?
Yeah. You'll get there running up for sure. So Lewis drags that pot with ace 10.
Lewis stacking some chips. Remember, at his peak in this tournament, he was at 14 million. I think he crossed 15 million.
I think he actually had 16.5 million before he lost. Remember, he had ace queen against Huber's ace 9. That was the lucky little 9 for Huber that kept him alive in this event.
He would have been out in 4th.
Would have been out in 4th. And then I don't know if they would have chopped. 3-handed. So Solis here in the small blind with the king 4. He decides to just call.
I think Lewis is going to check this back, and we're going to see a flop.
Looks like you're right. No pair for either player here.
Battle of the King X offsuits.
Checks to Lewis here. Let's see if he takes a shot on this flop. Where do you guys think Randy Lewis sits on the all-time money list?
Top 1,000?
Are you top 1,000 in America? You must be. You have $1 million in cash. Wow. Oh yeah, 709.
But not
That's
all-time money
fantastic.
list. Below on that.
No, all-time money list 1281.
So you told me 1.3 can't even give you one top 1,000.
That is pretty insane. You have 1.3 million in total live earnings, and you're not even in the top 700 in America.
I feel kind of.
That feels insane.
Maybe I shouldn't be commentating anymore. You only take top 500s or what?
Look at your popularity though, 261st. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just me reclicking myself, you know.
Where's your last cash? Your last cash on the record here is the WSOP event in Sydney, 21st for a big 9K US.
Look at this one from October 2017.
Run it
the
up,
$125 win the button or run it up Reno.
All right, you got some Run It Up Reno cashes. Your Hendon Mob is kind of like mine, where it's like scattered events, WSOP mostly, and then Run It Up Reno.
Yeah, it's a little random.
Oh, look at this big first place at Run It Up
That was
Reno.
my favorite tournament.
This was it. 235 no limit hold'em mixed max at Run It Up Reno.
Very nice.
That was awesome.
No one cares anymore.
First cash was in 2010.
No, I filled it up just for that event in the main event.
Yeah.
The mixed hold'em.
No limit hold'em was your first cash.
I love the mixed hold'em.
What were you thinking?
I don't know. I just wanted to play some limit hold'em.
You wanted to play some limit hold'em.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you only have 5%,
Let's catch back up here.
Yeah.
5% of 75.
It's true.
An open. Goalless, I imagine.
Yeah, Solis going to race here on the button. Lewis going to re-raise with kings.
The whole dynamic does change after the deal has been made. Tournament life no longer important. Lewis is going to 3-bet. Imagine 1.1 million, 1.2 million.
I like to see like 1.1.
Yeah, I think 1.1 is great.
How much is that?
400,000 from Solis and a pretty hefty re-raise, 1.275. Solis could easily jam here, guys. You agree, or you think this is a pretty easy fold? Can we call? Let's ask that question.
No, we cannot call.
It's a 4-better fold hand.
It's quite large, where it almost looks like Lewis isn't holding that much.
Maybe he's just trying to make it look like he's trying to push him off the hand to figure sizing.
I wouldn't be shocked to see a shove. I think the bigger size might.
The only thing is, Lewis hasn't really been that aggressive.
Here we go.
So here we go. All in from Solis, and Lewis is going to call. If Solis wins this pot, he'll be our chip leader with 9 million. If Lewis wins this pot, he'll have 15 of the 24 million in play. 70-30 here. Toby Lewis does lead.
Just as I expect Lewis to call. I don't think he's going to let it.
You're right on that one, Twitch chat. So Toby Lewis, 4-1 favorite here. And that's a scary turn card now. Lewis can win with an ace, or sorry, Solis can win with an ace or a diamond. He needs that gold card, and that's not going to do it. That's a full house for Toby Lewis. You're going to lose Espen Solis in third place. He's going to go home with $909,000.
It was a fun battle. Yeah, it was.
It definitely was a fun battle. These two guys battled it back. Oh, actually, Solis cashed for $1.1 million.
Very well played.
Thank you very much.
And so Toby Lewis now has a commanding chip lead again, about 15 million chips.
Congrats, man.
Yeah.
And now I wonder if we're going to...
was nice to meet you.
Yes, so we are going to go to Espen first to see what he thought about this tournament and his third place finish.
It was tough. I felt like I played good. Got some tough spots in the start. Then I got the hold when I was all in the last bit with sevens against queens, so that was fortunate. And yeah, after that we made a deal. So yeah, I was satisfied. I mean, I've run pretty well all the tournament. Had a good stack and not had to risk it all at too many points. So yeah, just a great structure and a great tournament. So yeah, we're going to Tokyo. I'm so excited. Never been. Going there for a couple of days and then I'm going golfing in Thailand. So after that, back to London and normal life and the grind again.
That was Espen Solis. Sorry. That was Espen Solis, our third place finisher, walking away with $1.1 million. And then there were two. Either Toby Lewis or Stefan Huber is going to be our Aussie Millions main event champion. And I'm pretty sure in that cardboard box is $1 million in cash. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Just a random box.
I want to see them. What's in the box, Twitch chat? It's like a box opening video on YouTube. What's in the box? What's in the box? We can't even see. There has to be a better angle of this. I'm pretty sure there's $1 million cash in that box, by the way.
It's just air and bubble wrap.
No way. They got all the cash in there. What's in the box? Is it the trophy? No, it is the money. Cash. I told you guys. That's where you keep money. You keep money in cardboard boxes.
Wow. I'm going to start going through the cardboard boxes in this room. Jason has a lot of these around the house.
How sick is it? I just knew the crappy looking cardboard box was where the money was going to be. Wow. So we are unpacking the money.
Wow. So
by the way, and you guys see, this is a little behind the scenes here. You see, we're going to put the money around the box and use the other box as like 3D elevation. See, you guys tune in for the poker, but I actually think you guys tune in for the beautiful ways of decorating your house with boxes and bundles of money. Yes, and this is Aussie money if you've never seen it before. I think the hundreds are. I guess they must be whatever color these dollar bills are.
They're green.
They're green. Nanonoko confirms. Green hundos. Who's on the $100 bill?
beautiful.
Do you know? Can you name any Australian person on money? I don't know.
James Cook.
James Cook. Okay, the dude who found Australia.
Yeah, but that's the only Australian I know.
That's the only guy you know. Hey, Nano, honestly, that's impressive if you're right.
If I said it confidently,
You did
would have
say
been convinced.
I was very convinced. So you can see, guys, we are getting ready for heads up play. So we are unpacking all the money that these guys have already distributed most of. We're getting some T-Tours. Look, it's the money. Everyone's having a good time, stacking the dollars out here.
Getting pictures of them putting the money up.
God, it looks so sweet. It looks even sweeter than American money, honestly.
Very nice.
All right, guys. So we're going to take a quick break here. And when we get back, we're going to have our heads-up action as we are declaring a winner. We're down to the final two here at the 10K Aussie Millions main event. We will see you guys. This could be the last break of the evening. We'll see you guys back in just a few minutes as heads-up play begins.
Thanks for joining us at the Aussie Millions Poker Championships high-stakes cash games here in 2014. A seat at that table will cost you $250,000. They are playing with real cash, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in white, you're making money, and if you're in red, you're losing money. That's right, Ike Haxton is down $373,000, but it's not over yet. Phil Ivey sits atop over $300,000. Antonius in the middle there. Some famous names. And Lo Xing Fung, he's been a roller coaster. He was down $250,000. Now he's down about $60,000. But anything can happen with this man at the table. He's very courageous.
Yeah, Paul, while the swings are pretty big in a cash game, if someone is down $373,000 like Ike Haxton, he's only one hand away from turning a profit.
Well, Paul Newer here with ace-jack offsuit, and Antonius is in this pot as well with ace-10 offsuit, and Richard Yong from Malaysia with 7-6 of hearts. The flop, an ace, an 8, and a 5, and 2 clubs. So Richard Yong with a straight draw. Newer here hits top pair as well as Antonius.
A little bit for everyone. These are the kind of flops we like to see. Nice and action-filled. Start building a big pot. Remember, some of these guys have 500,000, 600,000 sitting in front of them. Very deep stacked. Blinds are only 1,000, 2,000.
Action is on Antonius. He has flopped top pair. He calls. We will see a turn. The turn is a 4 of diamonds. That completes Richard Yong's straight.
It does, and that card looks like a brick to Newey and Antonius. And Richard Yong has the stone nuts.
Well, a bet of 26,000 now. The pot around 90,000. Will he get Newey and Antonius to come along for the ride?
You never know that. You never know that. That's true. Maybe depart.
Well, Antonius has checked it over. I'd imagine Newey's at least going to call here.
But you're probably right.
No, he lets it go. That's a pretty good fold.
It's a good fold.
Will Antonius follow suit? 26,000, 90,000 in the middle, facing the nuts. Richard Yong with 6-7 of hearts, turning a straight. He does make the call. He's out of position.
And drawing dead.
The river, a 3 of diamonds. Action on Antonius. And he does check. So over to Richard Yong with the stone cold nuts.
And that card changes very little as far as Patrick's concerned. He would, if he thinks his hand was good on the turn, the 3 shouldn't change too much. And Richard is going for value.
$85,000. Antonius has been in this spot a couple of times at this cash game this year. Big decisions on the river. He's made the correct call every time, almost.
Or the correct fold.
Or the correct fold. Will he do it again?
And Richard's not really one that gets out of line too much. So Patrick's got to ask himself, what is he going for value with? Is he going for value? Or is it a bluff? And like we said, Patrick's been right so far. He has turned a profit after a slow start, and he makes a good fold again.
He does. So Richard Yong will take a pot of a tickle over $200,000, and he's really starting to exert himself on this table. Player from Malaysia, having a lot of fun. Well, so much fun collecting so much money. Remember at home, ladies and gentlemen, that is cash that he's piling onto that stack. Quite amazing.
And Richard Young advising the table that his good friend Paul Foy is going to come in and sit. Just clarifying that no one has any objections.
Well, the man's got a dinner reservation.
He's got places to go. He's won enough. He's won a couple 100,000.
I wonder if he's going to... Well, is he one of those guys that's going to shout, or is he going to... Has he got short hands, you reckon, at a dinner table?
I think he might be one that shouts.
I've got to hang out with these guys more often. And we see there Max Altegott from Germany is involved with a Queen Jack offsuit. Round to Lo Xingfeng. Kind of my action man at this final table. He's been fantastic to watch.
Yeah, I'm loving Lo. I'm a big fan of his. Up and down, putting 100,000 in, bluffing off 100,000, coolering Isaac.
He's really having a think about this.
Get it in there. 7-4 is good.
Oh, look at this. He's coming in for a raise.
He hasn't shown a lot of pre-flop aggression. This is a first.
And he's got Queen 9 offsuit. I guess that's why. He's dominated by Altegott, but he's taken an aggressive line pre-flop. Round to Ike Haxton, who hasn't mucked his hand yet. So he might have something.
And remember, Isaac and Lowe have a little bit of history. Isaac lost with aces to Lowe's set of threes earlier on.
That was a very
completely stacked.
Very expensive history you're talking about.
As we can see, we know Isaac's lost about 380,000, but he's still sitting there with 100,000.
Ike Haxton has announced all in with ace king offsuit. So it folds back round to Lo Xingfeng, who took a huge whack out of Ike Haxton earlier to come back into this cash game, sitting, well, it looks like his stack size is around about $500,000 from what I can see. We know he likes a gamble. He wouldn't make this call, would he, Grant?
Well, he's getting almost 2-1 on his money. I think his raise is to 35 and Isaac's in for 127. He's got to call about 90 into 168.
He's really thinking about it. Well, if you're watching at home, that is real money they're playing with. This is not tournament poker. This is high-stakes cash game. And he folds, so... He was about to take a gamble. Look at him. He really wanted to put it in there. But Ike Haxton takes a very nice pot of around 168,000 Australian dollars. So the chips are truly flying here at the Aussie Millions Poker Championships. And we'll be back with more after the break here at the 2014 Aussie Millions. Thanks for joining us at the Aussie Millions Poker Championships high-stakes cash games here in 2014. A seat at that table will cost you $250,000. They are playing with real cash, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in white, you're making money, and if you're in red, you're losing money. That's right, Ike Haxton is down $373,000, but it's not over yet. Phil Ivey sits atop over $300,000. Antonius in the middle there. Some famous names. And Lo Xingfeng, he's been a roller coaster. He was down $250,000. Now he's down about 60,000. But anything can happen with this man at the table. He's very courageous.
Yeah, Paul, while the swings are pretty big in a cash game, if someone is down 373,000 like Ike Haxton, he's only one hand away from turning a profit.
Well, Paul Newer here with ace-jack offsuit, and Antonius is in this pot as well with ace-10 offsuit, and Richard Yong from Malaysia with 7-6 of hearts. The flop, an ace, an 8, and a 5, and 2 clubs. So Richard Yong with a straight draw. Newer here hits top pair as well as Antonius.
A little bit for everyone. These are the kind of flops we like to see. Nice and action-filled. Start building a big pot. Remember, some of these guys have 500,000, 600,000 sitting in front of them. Very deep stacked. Blinds are only 1,000, 2,000.
Action is on Antonius. He has flopped top pair. He calls. We will see a turn. The turn is a 4 of diamonds. That completes Richard Yong's straight.
It does, and that card looks like a brick to
Profit, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in white, you're making money. If you're in red, you're losing money. At the moment, Ike Haxton is losing money. Lo Xing Fung, well, he goes from losing money to making money to losing money. He's probably one of the more entertaining players I've seen on a cash table. Just then you saw Paul Newey from England. Here is Patrick Antonius from Finland. He raises it up. He's been known for his cash game play for a very, very long time. One of the more experienced players at the table. I sit aside Grant Levy, 2007 APPT Grand Final winner. Some of these stacks are really starting to emerge.
Yeah, they're all pretty deep, Paul. Blinds 1,000, 2,000, and they're all sitting with at least $200,000. So it's a very deep, structured cash game.
The flop, a 5-3-4. Richard Young with ace-8 of clubs, waiting to find out what Antonius has. He bets, does Young. Now, remember, also in a cash game, ladies and gentlemen, you can reload or at any time. The turn, a 10 of clubs that went check on the flop. So Young with a nut flush draw.
There's a nut flush draw. He has an overcard in the ace, and he has a gut shot straight draw with the ace for the wheel. Needs a 2, and now he's made a pair.
The river, an 8 of diamonds. So action on Antonius. We still don't know what Patrick has. Looks like he's got enough to bet with, though. The bet, 65,000. The pot was 88. Over to Richard Young. And look at this. Patrick with 2 pair. Turn and river. And he gets called. So Patrick Antonius will take a nice pot off Richard Young. Richard Young with the turn flush draw. Didn't realise that Antonius had him beat.
Yeah, I think Richard definitely made the right call, given the action in that pot. He has made a pair on the river. Second pair, good kicker.
Let's have a look at the balance sheet. Phil Ivey atop. Richard Young, he's making money. Patrick Antonius is making money. Polk and Newey, all in the white. Max Altergott, Lo Xing Fung, and Ike Haxton are all in the red. Wonder what their hourly rate is. I can't even imagine. Action is on Lo Xing Fung.
Probably need an abacus to figure that out, Paul.
Around to Phil Ivey, who has, well, pretty much won almost every hand he's played. But you kind of expect that from Phil.
And he's sitting there with a covering stack. So he has more chips than anyone else. We know that those plaques are worth 25,000, the orange chip's worth 5,000, and the blue chip's worth 1,000.
He raises it up to ace-4 of hearts. Paul Newey.
Paul Newey's been pretty quiet. He won a hand right at the start of the cash game. He hasn't played too many hands since.
The flop, a 5-6-3 flop. Newey with king-queen and Ivy with ace-4.
Check.
Ivy with the open ender and the ace high.
Check a bet.
Both players check the turn, a jack of clubs. Checks back to Ivy. The river, a 4 now. Phil with the best hand, however, Newey's going to take a stab.
And Ivy got a decision to make just with a pair. I think he'll call.
Yeah, he looked at him skeptically and made the call with a 4. That's why Phil Ivey is Phil Ivey. Paul Newey loses a pot, but it's not a huge pot. But what am I saying? It's $35,000.
Yeah, I mean, for some of these guys, it's just ashtray change, Paul. But for us, it's a fair amount of money.
And we'll be back with more after the break at the Aussie Millions High Stakes Cash Game. Welcome back to the 2014 Aussie Millions. You are watching the High Stakes Cash Game. That means these players right here are playing with real money. The entry to sit down is $250,000. We have kind of a leaderboard, but it also acts as a balance sheet. If you're in white, you're making money. If you're red, you're losing money. And that's right, Ike Haxton is down almost $300,000. Lo Xing Fung, who started very down and then went back up, and now he's back down again. Grant, we talk about the swings. Phil Ivey's swing is doing very well, all the way up to the top at around $350,000.
Yeah, Ivy's on the escalator. It doesn't come back down. It just goes up and up and up. Isaac Haxton slowly getting back into it. He's only down $290,000, Paul. Be happy with that.
Well, he has 3-4 of clubs, does Doug Polk, and he opens. Over to Lowe, who makes the call.
Doug Polk with what I like to call a cash game hand. These little suited connectors, always often disguised. You can hit a hand, no one's going to put you on it. Isaac Haxton getting involved with a 3-bet here. He's got jacks. We know
certainly does.
We know he's had aces and queens, and he's had about $500,000 loss with those two hands.
Well, he's 3-bet the button for $28,000 to one of the more unpredictable players at the table who has 6-4 of diamonds. He has no fear, does Lo Xingfeng, and he makes the call. So Ike Haxton in command with pair of jacks. $70,000 in the middle. Ike looking to get some money back. Oh my goodness, what a flop. An 8-7-5 flop so low. Well, he's flopped a straight against pair of jacks of Ike Haxton.
Well, I don't think Ike's going to get his money back here, Paul.
I can't believe it. Ike with a big bet. Let's see how this works. Check. Ike bets.
Isaac with 3 premium hands. And it's going to be 3 big losses, possibly stacked 3 times, twice by the same guy.
All in?
He announces all in straight away. Ike Haxton this time having a think about it. And then he just says call. He doesn't like it, and he's not going to like it at all when he sees Lowe's hand. He has completely smashed Ike Haxton.
He says drawing dead. He's not quite drawing dead.
Actually, 9-10 is...
But he's in a lot of trouble.
All good?
You could see Ike Haxton's body language. He just can't believe it.
He does have running straight cards for chop. The board can pair, give him a few outs to a full house. He can hit a jack. There's a few cards that can keep him in it. They run it once or more.
The turn is a 5.
That opens up the possibility of Isaac winning the hand. Needs a 5 or jack.
The river is a meaningless 3, so
all right, rebuy.
Ike Haxton announces rebuy as he gets hit again by the Lo Xingfeng freight train.
And Isaac down about 500,000 now.
I can't wait to see the balance sheet after that one. All the money you're seeing, ladies and gentlemen, in the middle of the table, that is real cash.
It's been a rough day for me so far, but you know, you have to turn up to a game like this ready to lose a bit of money. And I don't regret any of the decisions I've made in terms of the play of the hands. So it's just like a new day when I go back in there. I've got a fresh stack, and I'm going to be playing just the same as I would have before. Even being down 2 buy-ins, I don't think it's really going to impact how the other pros are going to play against me very much. You know, they saw the hands, they would have played them the same way, and maybe they'll expect me to be frustrated, but I doubt it. I don't think I am visibly frustrated. I think things will just keep going along about as they have.
Wow.
Does that mean he expects to be cooled 3 more times, Paul?
You need to have thick skin to play this game, let me tell you. There are times I wish I was on that table. This is not one of them.
Well,
a seat at this table costs you 250 cash.
Like
250,000, that is.
Like you said, Paul, he's been cooled 3 times and he's only down 2 buy-ins. That's a win for mine.
Well, Lowe is involved again. Phil Ivey just jumps off his seat. In a cash game, you can do that. You can go and grab something to eat or phone a friend. Round to Doug Polk, who will raise the button. Lo Xingfeng now with only a king of clubs that we can see. Polk with pocket 8s. Some of the players you can see stretching their legs. Doesn't stop the amount of money that's going on this table flying around, let me tell you.
And Polk has slowly gone about his business. He has booked a small profit so far. Hasn't been involved in too many big pots. Sign of a good player, Paul.
Yeah, that's true. And look at Lowe. I mean, his middle name should be Big Pots, really. He's quite an incredible entertainer, really.
He's been our action player at the table, and look at all the chips he has there. Remember, the plaques are worth 25,000. The orange chips are worth 5, and the blue ones are worth 1. So he's got about 54 billion in front of him.
Aussie Millions main event began 8 days ago with a record-breaking field of 800 players. Now just 2 players remain. Top prize has been brought out, $1.8 million, and of course the Anton Championship main event bracelet. With 2 players remain, we have 45 minutes left of level 31. Our blinds remain 80,000, 160,000. Let's get this main event underway. Shuffle up and deal.
Thanks, Joel. And there's a look at that $1.8 million first place prize. There has been a deal, though, so these 2 players are playing for only $75,000 more. Hooper locked up at $909,000. Toby Lewis, $1.38 million. So Toby could win $1.45 million if he ships this heads-up match. I am joined, as always, by my 2 co-hosts, Kevin Martin and Nanonoko.
Look at that beautiful Australian money. And look at that trophy.
It kind of feels like Canadian money a little bit, right?
It looks very similar to our Canadian money, absolutely. And the
Probably
bracelet, the trophy. Look at that. Look at what they're playing for here.
That's a beautiful pile of winnings over there.
And we are playing some heads-up poker, one-on-one.
Now, I think both of you guys have a decent amount of heads-up experience. What would you expect to see, guys, generally speaking, heading into this match? Nano, what do you think?
Well, the players are quite deep, so there's going to be a lot of 3-betting, I imagine, and just only one more player you have to beat. You just have to win as many chips from him.
Yeah, that's it. How hard is that?
Yeah.
Hoover's got to turn $8 million into $24 million. Easy game.
Wide range versus wide range. Look at the button open here, 9-5 offsuit. You just can't really fold your button almost ever in heads-up poker.
I don't think either of these players are going to play wrong. I think they have enough heads-up experience to know that they have to play a lot of hands, both from the big blind and from the button.
We saw Hooper re-raising a lot 3-handed. I think he's going to keep doing that heads-up, put a lot of pressure on. And this is going to go check on the river, and Hooper's going to win.
Nope, check bet.
Oh, sorry, check bet. And then
it's a value bet.
Interesting, 9s and queens. He does correct. He does have the best hand. Park finished 4th place, Tosh 2010, for 470,000 Aussie dollars. What up, Be Cool? Welcome back. 24 months in a row, resubscribing. What up, 2-Pair Billy? He's excited for the Patriots to win the Super Bowl tomorrow. We'll see. I think they will, honestly. That's my pick.
Tom Brady's the GOAT.
Tom Brady is going to carry it to a
undeniable GOAT. He's a villain because he wins every football game he plays.
I could be wrong, but I have it 2028.
Okay, how about this, Jason? The Aussie Millions year 2023, we're going to cast it, and then we're going to watch my Oakland Raiders in the Super Bowl the next day.
Wow. At that point, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Within 5 years.
The Las Vegas Raiders are going to be playing against, who do you think?
It's going to be some janky team.
The Jags? Think of the Jags.
I mean, Jags were legit this year.
They were for sure. Leonard Fournette.
The Las Vegas Raiders versus the Cleveland Browns.
Maybe. Anything could happen, you know? By then, Nanonoko might be able to name 2 football teams.
Is there a Sacramento team?
The Sacramento team? There is not. There are 2 LA teams.
Why do they have 2? They can share one with Sacramento.
They had one in San Diego, and they moved it to LA for a bad reason. There were no teams in LA, and then they moved 2 teams to LA in the last couple of years. Makes a lot of sense.
Like I said last time, I know the 49ers.
You got one down. Prick Morris says, let's do a survey in chat. Type Kappa if you think the Patriots are going to win, and Dan's game if you want the Eagles to win. You know what? That's the best idea you've ever had, Prick Morris 7.
Finally a good one.
Kappa for Patriots, Dan's game for Eagles. I'm a Kappa.
Just a huge flop for Huber in position. Both players make a pair.
And Lewis is going to check call this bottom pair, I imagine.
Pretty split. Just like the true public is split also. It's like 55-45 Eagles favored by the public. So here we are on the flop. Huber with a pair and a flush draw.
Imagine he's going to go check call here with Lewis.
Huber doesn't realize that they're most likely chopping.
It's going to be a chop unless Huber can make a flush here.
I like to see Huber check here. Most likely Lewis has got a 10 in his hand when the check calls. You don't want to get blown off of your flush draw.
9 changes nothing, so this will be a chop pot unless someone bets.
No reason for either player to bet. You got enough showdown value.
And they're going to chop it up. Just like they did with the prize money.
It's true, Kevin.
I mean, it is true.
It's pretty funny.
I was flashing, not him.
I like when I get the nano chuckle from over there on the left side of the corner. It makes me feel happy.
That's how you know you hit a good one.
I dropped an amazing Jesus joke like 2 days ago during the broadcast, and it was crickets from you too. Like, I started self-questioning my commentary and like rethinking my whole life. I was like, man, that was so funny. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you missed.
See, I think the nice thing about being a poker streamer on delay is that you can make a joke, and if nobody laughs 7 minutes later, you just ignore it and just keep moving on. The downside is if it's a funny joke, people are like laughing, and you're like, guys, what's the funny joke? I don't know what's going on. So it's hard to get that, response back. That's why it's nice to be live.
You know, true story. 2 years ago when I started my Twitch stream, I played a hand so badly at a final table, I cold shut off my monitor to stop the stream from going through the delay. Because I was on a 3-minute delay. I'm like, oh my god, that was so bad. I cannot have evidence of that on the internet. So I hard shut off my monitor, restart. Hey guys, sorry my internet cut out. We're back to the action.
A couple times I've closed chat towards the end of the stream with like 5 minutes left. I just can't see the berating. I just can't take it. But yeah, that's awesome.
Now, whenever I punt, I actually clip it, and it's hilarious. And we
exactly.
Like to...
You gotta embrace the fact that chat is gonna roast you. So here we are on the turn. Huber with the pair of fours has the best hand. Not a particularly strong one though.
Lewis, is he gonna fire this queen high? He does have some outs. Probably would get Huber to fold the best hand, I think. 600,000. It's a big bet.
Yeah, it's a hearty bet here from Lewis.
If Huber calls here, he has to put him on exactly a draw. Nope. Does not.
Nice pot for Lewis. Wins here with the best hand, or the worst hand, rather.
Lewis is about a 2-1 favorite here with only 16 million.
Yeah, and I think he's got a little bit more heads-up experience. You know, they both are... Hi, guys. Hey, guys. It's hard for the rail to be too riled up one way or the other. Their boys already won a heap of cash.
Now the German rail is dead.
Look at those bills of American money. Oh, sorry, Australian money.
Yeah. What's the difference, really?
Yeah, same.
Both green.
Ace deuce against ace 4 here.
Expect this to go raise and defend. Usually heads up, people choose other hands to 3-bet from the big blind rather than this ace 4 offsuit. But 3-betting heads up really can't be a mistake.
Yeah, you never know. So Huber did raise here with the suited ace, and Lewis...
Hey, he's re-raising.
That is not a call.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure Huber is not going to fold this.
I don't think so. Folding suited aces heads up in position does not seem like a recipe for success.
You might even 4-bet.
Could definitely 4-bet. We have seen Huber re-raise a few times already today.
It would be a lot to commit on a 4-bet, so he might just call rather than put himself in a situation to put in 8 million chips right now.
I think calling makes sense to me.
I think calling's a more safe play. 50-50.
Yeah, pretty big pot here. 2.8 Milski in the middle. And this hand really favors Lewis as pre-flop raiser. If Lewis bets, the hand may just be over.
Yeah, it's hard to say exactly.
think Lewis is going to bet 1.2 million here or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds like a Lewis.
I should have bet your kidney that he was going to bet here on the flop because I was very sure he was betting.
Smaller sizing here, 900,000
Didn't
looks
show
like.
sizing though. That would have been awful.
That would have been awful. No. I would have just chose the action.
You guys are just tuning in 4 or 5 hours ago. There was a spot where Jason said, I will bet Nano's kidney this will happen, and it didn't happen.
And yeah, I thought that was the lock of the century. 2 pair, super connected board, multi-way.
Amazing.
How does he not bet?
I came to terms that I'm not going to get my kidney back.
No,
It's okay.
we're getting it back in this heads-up match. We're getting it back.
There you go. There's the clip in the Twitch chat.
Yep. Exclamation mark kidney or something. There you go.
It's a good start for Lewis in this heads-up match.
I find out Lewis is a little bit more aggressive, and this is going to pay off, I think.
It's all about aggression heads up for sure.
Yeah, Lewis is going to raise here. And Huber's going to call in the big blind, and we are off to the flop. 8 far offsuit, good enough for Huber. That's a good door card for him. Pretty good flop all in all. Lewis not dead, though. Surprising he's actually 20% to win against bottom 2 pair.
But if Lewis bets this flop and Huber decides to go aggressive and check raise it, he won't get to see any of that 20%.
You gotta imagine Huber wants to check raise, protect his hand a little bit, get some value versus draws, Jack X, over pairs. Lewis has such a wide range, so there will be a lot of snap folds.
Also, we check call and any high card, any
Yeah.
diamond, any jack. We're going to be so sad we didn't raise flop. So I think we got to make it a million and change here. Wow, looks like it is going to be called. Wow. A 9, and this is all over, baby. 5 does give Lewis another straight draw, though. 6 or a 9.
That actually makes Lewis want to bet more, I think.
You think so?
I mean,
Maybe.
Well, your opponent in wide ranges will have a single bear 8 and 4 often, which would be a lot of pressure against it.
Right, if he just has a single 4, single 8, you bet a million here, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, especially if you have a hand like Queen 8, right? Like, that's not a great hand. Still
Right.
might call you, but...
You're doing okay against that hand anyway. Lewis does check here. That's a queen on the river. I don't think there's a chance that Huber could fold here to a single bet. You guys agree? Check 2 million. Is there any chance
No,
Huber's
he's not folding. If he's checking, he's trying to trap him.
Yeah, if he's checking the check call. It's a beautiful trophy over there. Your name gets etched on that Champions Cup.
With Ari Angle.
Yep. Shireen
I
Vijayaram.
was going to say it. I was scared to pronounce it, though.
Gus Hansen. Ami Bearer. Manning Stavropoulos.
Man, he's played this slow. He is going for the trap on the river. I
And
think
you get
Lewis
your face
is...
all over the Crown Poker Room, from what I remember.
I think there is like a wall where you get your face put up. And that hand goes to Huber with his bottom 2 per. Or 8s and 4s, I suppose. Tony Bloom, another former champion. Alexander Kostritsin. A lot of great players have won this event in the past.
So much showdown.
One of these 2 players getting added to that prestigious Hall of Champions.
I will always remember that Jimmy Fricky Gus Hudson.
Gus Hudson.
Gus Hudson.
Gus Hudson.
It's Gus Hudson. Jimmy Fricky versus Gus Hansen. That was a fun one.
Good old Goose Hudson. Yes.
Jimmy Fricky was fun to watch that tournament.
Yeah, good old Gobble Boy. Gabo was like the first person who I knew personally to win $1 million in a poker tournament. And before the tourney, he sold action to basically like all of my friends. And I didn't buy action. I didn't think it was a great spot for some reason. I didn't want to buy action. And I remember telling my mom after the fact that my friend had won $1 million and I didn't have a piece and all my other friends did. And she was like, Jason, how could you not believe in your friends. And I was like, oh yeah, that's all right, Mom. I'm gonna do that. And then I staked people for like 5 more years and lost like 600,000 or something. So thanks, Mom. Good times. That one we should pull out of the archive. Where's the Gus Hansen Gobble Boy match? I would love to watch that heads up again.
That was Gus Hansen's like destined tournament to win, though, right?
Yeah, remember he wrote a book also, Every Hand Revealed or something.
And you win it? That's...
Yeah, he took notes the whole time on like every hand he played. Toby Lewis is dreaming about what it would be like to be a champion. I wonder what it would be like to be a cool cat and just win this Aussie Millions. Oh, that would be so delightful. Twitch chat would love me. They wouldn't be saying anything mean to me anymore in chat. How nice that would be. No, I didn't actually lose 600k stake in Crispy Crust, but sometimes it felt like it. Back in those days, anyone who could tie their shoes would be a winning poker player. When Gobble Boy, what was that year when Gus won? It was like 2008, I want to say. 2007? 2007 was when Gus won. Crazy. 11 years ago. King Queen against Queen 3 here. Toby's going to re-raise.
And the hand real quick.
Indeed it does. You are correct. Nanonoko. And Huber, who's a very good player, co-founder of Raising for Effective Giving, a charity that I and many other top poker players have supported over the years. I'm sure he'll be giving some percentage of his nearly $1 million cash to charity, which is always great. Lewis going to raise here with an ace. So, raising a call here, we are off to see the flop. Not much improvement for either player here. That is pretty typical heads up. It's hard to make good hands heads up.
I guess Lewis is going to go ahead and continuation bet here. No, he checks it back.
Lewis's ace still reigns supreme. Probably going to go check at this point. Oh, we could make a small bet here, though, also. You know, it may get some value out of straight draws, flush draws, stuff like that.
I wouldn't fault Lewis for betting here.
I'm not going to bet a kidney on it, but I think
yeah,
Lewis...
It's a 50-50 situation.
Yeah.
I think we should agree that now that we're heads up, we shouldn't bet any more organs because weird things happen.
Yeah, that's
tough to...
I'm going to find a golden lock, just as good as the last one, and fire on that. Toby picks up that pot as well.
By the way, what's the price that you would sell a kidney for, Randy? There's got to be some certain...
Probably like 15,000.
15,000.
I was thinking 350.
That's kind of higher than I was expecting. I was thinking just 10,600 AUD.
Oh, nice. That's a pretty cheap deal. We'll trade kidney for a crown for an Aussie Millions.
I mean, I would have did it with the one you gave away.
That's true. That's
gotta keep this one.
I guess the last one has a lot more value.
Maybe 2 binds.
Maybe 2 binds. That seems fair. The very pretty Jack-9 suited going to raise it up. I wonder if Toby's going to defend 10-6 offsuit.
I think he will. No? Never mind.
He did not.
Kind of different because I saw Huber defend the 8-4 offsuit. So different game plan, I guess.
Kaido King of Beasts says, what happened to those 2 massive chip leaders? Well, one of them was Toby Lewis. He's still here, heads up. And our 3rd place finisher was Espen Solas, who got 3rd.
Mr. Park had the chip lead at one moment as well.
Yeah. So our chip leaders today, I think, was Lewis. Did Solis ever make it to chip lead today? Maybe like briefly.
Solis had the chip lead at one moment, yeah.
Maybe like early in the final table. And Park was in the chip lead a couple times, if not maybe just once. button over on Huber, who I think we called Hubber, Uber, Huber, until we finally got taught by Twitch chat to say Huber.
Huber.
Huber. Yes, that's how they literally taught us. Huber. What place did the People's Champion get? Unfortunately, Charlie Park busted out in 4th place for a little under $500,000. He got pretty unlucky, though, at the final 4 and 5. Got it in with jacks against deuces and lost. They chopped. Got it in with queens against sevens and lost. 400K here from Huber. Will he defend queen 5? He folded 10-6 a second ago. I think Lewis is going to re-raise here. Nope, just a call. Felt like he was getting himself ready there. Lewis here making a pretty good 9s and 5s. Got to feel pretty strong about that in a heads-up scenario. And as we can see, Huber is drawing to runners here, and that is one of them.
I think Lewis is going to lead this turn. His 5 could use some protection. He can get called by ace highs. Says he checked, but now he's going for chips. Yeah, he's going for a bet. No version of Huber folding here with an open and a straight draw.
I mean, there might be a version when he overbets $1 million.
Oh, excuse me. They put a lot of chips in there.
Yeah, I think I'm folding this deuce 4.
Yeah, it's hard to call. I mean, you could theoretically raise, but that just seems... It doesn't look like... Or it's hard to see. Did he just fold? He did call $1 million here on the turn, and that's got to scare Lewis a little bit. I'm surprised he called here because, like, now what do you do?
Well, if I'm Lewis, I think I'm a little bit scared.
I'm checking. I'm checking for sure if I'm Lewis, but as Huber, are we bluffing?
He has
I guess
to bluff.
we have to. We got the nut
I guess
low.
we do have the true stone nut low.
Because Lewis technically will have like so many missed draws that beat 4 high.
Right, 6-7 of clubs, 7-8. Yeah. So I think if we're Huber, we have to bluff here. And if we're Lewis, I think we will eventually talk ourselves into a call. Because what are we really afraid of?
9 that checks back flop doesn't seem too likely.
Pocket 6s that check back flop.
Jacks that can hit the river, but again, when you're playing heads up, people usually find calls with the queen 5. I think.
I'll say the 9 is the most likely hand because a lot of these hands that paired like a 5 is going to check back this river once you see this big overbet on the turn. So Huber here really looks like a 9 or nothing, and he's got the nothing. It's a very small bet, just hoping to fold out any unpaired hand.
Exactly. I think this bet is designed to get 6-7 and clubs and, 4-6 and those kind of hands to fold. He doesn't think Lewis is folding his exact hand here. And I would be shocked if Lewis does anything besides call. Is this kidney level? I mean, if Lewis folds getting like 5-1, that would be insane.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, we could have got it back. We didn't bet it in time.
Should have bet.
We didn't get there in time. Nuts?
Low.
Nut low. I wonder if he just mucked his hand instantly. What would have happened?
I mean, this is really going to push Lewis in the lead.
Yeah, Lewis now with 19 million to 5 million. He's got Huber on the ropes, but still Huber has 30 blinds. It's not like he's totally dead here. And Huber's lost almost all of his 5K yellow chips. Still, he's got to be pretty happy with this final table. This final table has worked out amazingly. He was one of our shortest stacks to get started today.
He got it all in to lose earlier in the tournament. Didn't.
Got it in badly. Ace-9 against ace-queen. Won that one. Several other all-ins he also won today.
Watched Park get sucked out on, and yeah, now he's here.
Interesting. Lewis decides to limp here on the button for the first time heads up.
I think it's pretty common when you get heads up, 30 big blinds and less, people start limping most of their hands.
Yeah, this is still a $75,000 heads up match. Not exactly peanuts these guys were playing for here. Yeah. Not counting the trophy, the title, the bracelet. You can see there is security standing around the stage right now. This stage at Crown is not in any way really isolated from the rail.
I mean, there's a lot of money sitting on the table.
You can, I mean, like, there is no real, as far as I remember, there's no, like, guardrail or anything, so they need those security guards to keep out the...
We live streamed a heist to the internet or something. Some guy just runs by and grabs one of those bricks.
Don't even suggest such a thing, Kevin Martin. The hawks of Crown will be all over them. Actually,
security guard number 25 right there looks pretty serious.
Yeah, that is true. That guy means business. Action on Huber with the ace. And he's going to raise it up with his 30 big blind stack.
Two pretty good looking hands heads up here.
Wonder if Lewis will re-raise. Nope, looks like he's going to just call.
Ooh. Oh, my goodness.
Look at that. Huber is in terrible shape here. Under 1% to win this hand. Must come ace-ace or 8-8.
The money, it depends on the run out, but this is a pretty painful flop heads up for ace-8.
Money could definitely get in here. Huber starts with a small bet. Lewis could easily check raise.
People in the chat saying GG. It depends on the run out, not necessarily.
It definitely could be, though. If Lewis check raises and Huber doesn't believe him, because there's a lot of draws and things, and it could have 8x also. Let's see what Lewis does here.
He is check raising.
He is going to check raise. Does 3x it here. I could easily see, I mean, there's no universe. Kidney on the line, Nanonoko. Huber is not folding here. Guaranteed not folding. Now, what is he doing beyond that? That is the question. It's a very wide bet, but there's no chance he's getting off
very
this
wide.
hand.
Which one is he going to do, Jason?
I think he's going to call. Indeed, he did. And this has got to be GG. Huber has 2x pot left. I mean, maybe Lewis bets and Huber just calls.
All right, Jason, I want to know, is Huber going to lose his stack on his hand with the kidney on the line?
Well, I think I just won it back because I said he was continuing, but that's kind of lame. That was pretty obvious. This is probably your last chance to get unstuck here, though.
I know.
So, I don't really see how Huber doesn't shove here. The draw's missed, right? He could have Jack 10, 10-9, Jack 9, hearts, worse 8s, complete air balls.
Let's see how much Lewis bets first.
The more Lewis bets, the more likely it is this is game over for Huber. Wow, he checks! And wow, that actually might save Huber here.
Yeah, Huber's just going to lose one more street of value, I believe.
I mean, unless Huber, like, pots it or something. If he checks back, he actually will survive this hand, I would imagine, barring an 8 on the river.
No,
Wow,
that's definitely
no.
bad.
Huber thinks he has the best hand now. He thinks Lewis has checked and slowed down. But instead, Lewis has just put the little cupcake out there and said, come on, take a bite. It's a beautiful, lovely little cupcake.
I wonder if Lewis will check raise again or just check call this time.
He could check jam here, really represent a big draw.
I like the check jam. I feel like if you check raise, check call here, Huber is just going to check back the river a lot because you'll mainly have a draw or a queen.
Also, not for nothing, but Lewis could check raise maybe like a hand like King 8 and then check raise the turn as well. I don't know. What do you think? Is that
he's all in?
He is all in. Wow. This might be it, guys.
Huber.
This might be it, guys.
See, this is the bet you should make.
He's just got double check raised.
You
It's
think
pretty
he's calling
strong,
it off
right?
here? He does call, and that's it.
Oh, well, no. There's 2 outs.
What are you talking about?
2 outs.
What
Oh my God, Kevin Martin.
Sorry, I read the board wrong. I mean,
There's no
oh
outs.
my God.
That is it. It's over. Toby Lewis is our champion. Our very deserving champion. He smashed this final table.
Wow.
5 of spades on the river. That's it. Toby Lewis is going to the rail, celebrating with his friends. His friends are so GG. GG, Toby Lewis. taking down 1.45 million. He has a lot of friends. Brenner, his friends with all the rest of the final table. Or are those just the Germans? They're just now waiting for the winner.
Change sides.
That is it. It is a wrap here at the Aussie Millions. Toby Lewis, a very deserving champion. He's going to go home with $1.45 million. Puts himself up in the 10th place, maybe just about. All-time UK money winner. There he is. Congratulations from his friends. Lots of hugs all around.
Maybe we can get bang on it. Maybe we can get bang on it.
Well played, man.
I told you you were staying here the night.
I'm not sure what language she's speaking, but that's cool. Toby Lewis, gotta feel amazing. Aussie Millions champion, feels amazing, man.
What a final table performance. He ran really well, but he absolutely beasted
He played the best.
Oh, it was incredible.
Luck was on his side, but he also had an amazing display of skill.
I flopped trip queens and double check raises. Yeah.
Well done, Toby, honestly.
Very well played. Good mindset,
Sure did.
good positivity. Honestly.
Queen 10 of diamonds. What a beautiful winning hand, too. That'll look great in the winner's photo.
I mean, I don't want to drop the gun, but it's a UK.
There it is, final board.
2 outs in the river? Nope.
Less than that. You should have bet Nana's kidney that there were 2 outs on the river.
What a fun time.
Yeah.
Man, GG Lewis. What an incredible tournament.
Sure, and you got to give shout out to Stefan Huber. Started out as our short stack, grinded his way all the way to a second place finish. He's going to take home almost $1 million, $910,000. I'm sure some of that money is going to raising for effective giving too. There's a shot of the beautiful Crown Poker and some of that money.
Thanks, appreciate it.
That our champion Toby Lewis just won.
Great work, mate. Thanks,
Feels amazing, man. What a tournament this was.
Unbelievable.
Man, if you guys enjoyed this tournament, press that follow button. There'll be lots more coming this year.
It's like
For now, though,
7.5 years since I last won a big tournament.
Joel is going to officially place the bracelet on the...
I can't remember, like 4 or 5 years, but I came like 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, and then I haven't been since.
Yeah. You're playing less so these days, yeah?
Playing a little bit less, yeah, but still like big tournaments, but yeah, just other stuff going on. Yeah, I won't miss it again, don't worry.
I bet he won't.
Congrats to that man, Mr. Lewis.
Toby Lewis.
Just unbelievable play.
Gets Nano's kidney back on the last hand. Technically, I did.
Well timed.
Yeah.
It'll take a while.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, after an 8-day main event with a record-breaking field of 800 players, just one remains on my right, Toby Lewis. Firstly, congratulations, mate. You've had numerous cashes, PCA, EPT, WPT. Where does this one rank?
Yeah, I mean, this is extremely sweet. Like I said to you earlier, I haven't played quite so much these days, but in the last few months I've been working on my game a lot more and realised that I needed to get better, and it really helped in these big spots on the final table.
Now, it's been a few years since you've been here in Melbourne, but you were an absolute regular there at Aussie Millions for a long time. What's kept you away for so long?
Numerous different things, but I won't be staying away for too long again. I'll be back next year.
Fantastic. Well, look, on behalf of all of us, a record-breaking win, a record-breaking field. It is my absolute pleasure to present Toby Lewis with the Anton Aussie Millions Main Event Championship bracelet.
Loving it. Yeah, I love one of these as well.
Christine, it's all yours. Media wall? Yep.
Toby Lewis, guys, our champion. Must feel amazing. Toby's got to feel great. $1.45 million just about. after you add up the 75K he just won for that. And look at that beautiful trophy. Man, must feel amazing. Toby Lewis. You got to say, he did crush this final table. I mean, he put on an absolutely astounding performance. And he is a worthy champion. Certainly put on the best performance with the final four. Crushed when he was the chip leader. Really extended his lead. Got it in good so many times. And he is happy. You cannot blame him for that.
Amazing.
That's a heavy-looking trophy. Wow. And so here's a look at our final table payouts. Toby Lewis took down $1.45 million and the title. Stefan Huber took down $909,000. Espen Solis, $1.17 million for his third place finish. And then Charlie Park, the people's champ, $470K. Mike Del Vecchio put on a great performance, ended up coming in fifth for $370K. Ben Richardson ended up getting sixth place for $300K. And Johan Schumacher, our Mario Kart pro, ended up coming in seventh place for $235,000. And that's it for us, guys. That's it. It's been an absolute pleasure. Any last thoughts, Kevin, Nano?
Incredible. Heads up. He got in with the Queen 10. He faded the 2 outs on the river. And he's our champion.
He sure
Unbelievable.
did.
Honestly, to be part of this, it was incredible. The Apex Predators really rose to that final table. We saw some incredible play. They played at such a high level. It was unbelievable.
It was really amazing. Nano, any final thoughts for the fans out there?
Thanks for watching, Twitch. Thank you.
Guys, it's been so much fun. An absolute honor. 3 years in a row, Aussie Millions. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you guys all so much for being a part of it. Thanks to Kevin and Nano. Shout out to the entire production crew who worked so hard to make the show here for you guys. Appreciate all you guys joining us for the show. If you haven't already, press that follow button. Come hang out with us more often. We've got a full year ahead of great poker action here on runitup.tv. So thank you all for so much for being a part of it. Hope to be back next year for more Aussie Millions action. We're going to do some winners photos here. Toby looking happy as you can imagine, putting the chips in play. So thank you guys again so much. I really do appreciate it. We will be back with more poker action very soon. Don't forget, you can follow me at Jason Somerville. Kevin is twitch.tv/KevinMartin987. Kevin Rob Martin on Twitter. Nanonoko is just Nanonoko everywhere, both Twitch and Twitter. Would highly recommend checking out their streams. So thank you guys again very much. We'll see you guys hopefully next year for the Aussie Millions in 2019. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Ike might just call, but he decided to go all in, and I can't blame him. And of course, he got the bad news when Yang turned over the Kings. Just a unlucky cooler.
I'm Sam Miggs, I'm from Melbourne. I just played card games all my life since I was a little kid. Started with like gin rummy and stuff like that, and then me and my dad started playing poker when it came out online, and then progressed from online to casinos and so forth, and tournaments become more important to me than cash games, because cash games you can just reload and stuff like that. So the tournaments, your value of chips are more precious. So it become a bit more exciting. So I just stuck with a lot of tournaments these days. It's not my full-time gig, but I do like to play when it's series on in Melbourne or Sydney or wherever. I try and play it. I won a ring a few years ago, and I've won a WSOP, the APAC bracelet in the Omaha as well. I've pretty much been playing probably the last 7 years, Aussie Millions series. Yeah, I made a deep run. I came 11th in the Six Max, so just missed out on the final table there. And this is my other deepest run, so, and obviously won it, so it was good.
Oh, so you won the event?
Yeah.
What was the event?
The Omaha High-Low.
All right. Fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah. Yes, very happy. I just like to get in there and play the cards and, you know, like be friends with everyone on the table. I don't really find enemies or anything like that on the table. I just, you know, play the cards as they come.